Today we're going to be talking about the cost of living in one of the most popular suburbs in all of the Austin area, and that is Georgetown, Texas. Today we're going to be covering everything from cost of living to cost of food to cost of transportation. So if you have any questions about what it costs to live in the Austin suburbs, this is the video for you. My name's Connor Olson, and this is the Living in North Austin channel. I'm a local real estate agent, and I focus on the North Austin area and the suburbs to the north. If you have any questions about living up north in Austin or living down south or anywhere within the Austin metro, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. My number is down below, as well as my email in the description. So if you have any questions about relocating to Austin, feel free to reach out. Let's get into the video. So Georgetown, Texas is a suburb of North Austin. It is 2 suburbs out. You go Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown. It goes right up I-35. It's probably about a 45-minute drive to get from Georgetown to downtown Austin. People who are relocating to Georgetown are looking for the small town feel, but still close to the big city. So when you get up to Georgetown, the home prices are a little bit lower. The homes are a little bit bigger, and you get a little more land than you would in other suburbs closer to the Austin area. When talking cost of living, the first thing that people want to bring up is the cost of housing. Our current society, cost of housing is probably the top expense that you need to be thinking about when considering relocating to a new area. So let's dive right in. The median home in Georgetown that sold in 2023 was priced at $450,000. It was 2,100 square feet, and it was a 4-bed, 3-bath. The majority of homes in Georgetown were built in the last 10 years. So there is a lot of new construction going on throughout Georgetown itself. There's still a ton of land to be developed that is currently coming in with new construction. So let's run a purchase scenario. So let's take that home of $450,000. Let's assume you're putting 10% down, so a $45,000 down payment. Let's assume your interest rate is 6.75%, which, depending on when you're watching this video, could be high, could be low. Interest rates are fluctuating a lot right now. So let's just assume 6.75. That's been the average of what I've been seeing in the early part of 2024. That means your monthly principal and interest payments come out to around $2,600 a month. Now, your last 3 expenses you need to be thinking about are your property taxes, your insurance, and any HOA fees that you might have in your community. The average property tax on a $450,000 house is $8,800 per year. Now, that might seem high depending on where you're coming from in the country, but here in Texas, we don't have any state income tax. So our property taxes are extremely high to make up for the fact that we don't have any income tax. So the government gets the majority of their funding through property taxes and sales taxes, which we're going to talk about at the end of this video. The last thing is HOA fees. And I'm not going to give you a range because that is very specific to the community that you're in. But let's just say they range anywhere from $30 to $70 a month for a $450,000 house. So that's just a rule of thumb, but you're going to have to add that into your own calculations. So not including HOA fees, you're going to be looking at a $3,684 a month payment, and that includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. The average property taxes in Georgetown is 1.9%. Now, this varies greatly depending on what part of town you're in, what schools you have to pay for, any city projects that you're paying for. It varies greatly depending on the area. So when you're looking for homes, make sure you ask about the property tax rate of that area because it makes a huge difference. The best way to limit your property taxes is to file what's called a homestead exemption. A homestead exemption is when you tell the county that you live in this home and it is your primary residence. And in exchange, they will discount your property taxes each year, and they will also limit the increase in property taxes every year. So there's a maximum of 10% increase in your property taxes one year over next. Now, 10% may seem like a huge gap, which it is in most markets, but what we saw in 2022 to 2024 were these massive jumps in property tax rates. I'm talking 30 to 50% year over year increase in property taxes. If you had a homestead exemption, that capped your property tax increases to 10% each year. If you didn't have the homestead exemption, then you will get assessed wherever they want, and there's no way that you can sustainably cap the amount of property taxes that you're going to be paying on your home. So to file a homestead exemption, the easiest way is just to go to the county's website. And Georgetown, you're in Williamson County, and there should be an electronic way that you can just file it really quick. You just need a couple pieces of documentation, and then you're set, you're good to go. Okay, let's talk about renting. So the average home that was rented out in 2023 was a little bit smaller than the average home purchased. So the rental came in at 3 beds, 2 baths, and the rental amount was $2,200 a month. So on average, the homes that are coming in for rentals are a little bit smaller, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom smaller, and the square footage as well is typically around 300 square feet smaller. Utilities in Georgetown are probably going to run you around $600 to $800 per month. That includes electricity, gas, water, internet. All that might be around $600 to $800 a month. Very much depends on your usage. If you're a single person living in a house versus a family of 5, it just varies greatly. So again, $600 to $800 a month. It could be lower, could be higher. That's just a rough estimate. Lawn care is going to run you about $75 per month, and lawn care is very seasonal. You're going to be paying for a lot more grass mowing in the summer than you will in the winter. So pretty much averages out to about $75 a month, but the majority of that is coming during the summer months. Pest control is definitely something that I recommend everyone gets. We have a ton of bugs here in Texas. Pest control is going to cost you around $70 a month. They're going to come out typically every other month. They'll spray the exterior and the interior of your home and keep those bugs out. So definitely recommend it. It is totally worth it, and take care of everything. And if any bugs come between their visits, you can just call them up and they will send someone out to take care of any problems you may have. Transportation costs. If you are in Georgetown, you are likely going to need a car. There is very little public transportation for easy commuting to downtown. It is Texas. Everything is really spread out. So I absolutely recommend that most people get a car, depending on their situations. It's very rare that you can accomplish everything you need to without a vehicle. So for vehicles, the biggest expense is going to be gas. And in Texas, we have very cheap gas because it's all drilled and refined just right off the coast here. So right now it's around $3, and again, that fluctuates constantly, but that's definitely something to think about. Is how long is your commute? What's your miles per gallon of your vehicle? How much you're going to be spending per month paying to get to and from work and all your various activities. Car registration in Georgetown is $76.25 per year. You have to go get it and get a state inspection every year, which typically runs around $17. Very straightforward process. They do a quick emissions test, make sure your blinkers work, your taillights work, things like that. And then you get that registration for $76 per year. Car insurance is, again, it very much depends on the car, your driving habits, how many accidents. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but I can give you my personal experience. When I was living here back in 2020, my car insurance was about $83 a month, and now it's about $95 a month. And I drive the same car. It's a 2016 sedan, so it's getting a little bit older, but it definitely has gone up, about 10 to 20% over the past 3 years. So definitely something to consider. Again, it varies greatly on the price of your car, driving habits. So that's kind of where car insurance might land for you. Food in Georgetown is typically 5 to 10% below the national average for cost of food. So, it's pretty standard, pretty affordable, definitely more affordable than depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from major metros, it might be more expensive than here. One thing that I like is we're very close to the Mexican border. So we get a lot of goods from Central America that are very inexpensive, like a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables that are coming through Central America. So that's one of the best things about living in Texas is we get a lot of quality produce. And then sales tax. Sales tax in Georgetown is 8.25%. So it's very high. A lot of places I lived have been, around 5 to 6%. So at 8% or more, it's definitely high. Again, the government gets money from the property taxes and sales taxes. So we save it on our income, but that's where we pay it back. So again, we have high property taxes and high sales taxes, but there's no real way of getting around sales tax. So, in my opinion, it is what it is. Unemployment in Georgetown is about 3.7%. It's pretty standard for the Austin area. It's very low compared to other areas throughout the country. Pretty much everywhere in Austin is sub 4%. So it's great unemployment. We have a lot of jobs moving to Austin. I feel like I read, multiple times a week that a new company's moving in and bringing 5, 10, 50, 100, 150 employees. So it's definitely a great job market throughout the whole Austin metro. Lastly, the median household income in Georgetown is $80,000. So now that we've gone over all of the costs of living in Georgetown, I want to hear from you if you think it's affordable to live in Georgetown, if it's less affordable, if you think you can make it off of the $80,000 salary. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And again, if you have any more questions about Georgetown or the other suburbs of Austin, relocating to Austin, the best areas to live, the areas to avoid, anything about that, feel free to give me a call or send me an email. My information is down below. And this is Living in North Austin, and thank you for watching.